I'm always sore. Every single time I wake up, I'm sore. And I'm not talking about just in the morning when I get up. On average, it varies from night to night, but on average, I would say that I wake up about a dozen times per night. Sometimes more, sometimes less, but that's the average. And every single time I wake up, I'm sore. I've tried every single position imaginable. When I lie down on my back, that seems to be the most comfortable position. Unfortunately, it eventually causes breathing issues. The only way to avoid that is to either change positions or to elevate myself. That way, it relieves some of the pressure and it puts a higher angle so it's easier for me to breathe. The problem with that is because of gravity, it puts pressure on my coccyx, which ends up hurting. So, once again, that position is just temporary. If I'm on the side, then that puts pressure on my shoulder, which eventually ends up becoming sore and hurting. Also, for some reason, puts pressure on my lower back, and that ends up hurting, as well as my knees. I do put a cushion between my knees, and that does help, but it still ends up hurting after a while. So, same thing on the other side. Sometimes the neck also. I have two different like thicknesses of pillows, one very thin, one thicker. And when I'm on the side, I put the thicker one. And even like when I try to really like press it into my shoulder and everything, so everything is like really squeezed in and it won't like shift or like be crooked or anything, it still ends up hurting my neck eventually. Sometimes just the pressure of gravity pressing down on my head and like it pushes the ear against my head between the pillow. That also sometimes ends up hurting. If I use my normal position before getting cancer, before all this, which would be half on the side, half on the stomach, with like one leg and one arm kind of like sticking out to the side, and the other arm under the pillow and under my head. That is comfortable for about 5 seconds. And then because I'm so skinny, um, it's just like my arm starts hurting from the pressure and starts getting numb. Even if I adjust it so my head isn't pressing on it, it's just the edge of the pillow barely pressing on it. It still doesn't work. It's either uncomfortable or because of the pressure, I can't sleep. Or if I do, on the rare occasions where I do manage to fall asleep in that position, I wake up and my arm is just completely numb. And unfortunately, because I'm so skinny now, it takes longer for the sensation and the blood and everything to return to my arm. And I'm just like, that is not good for me. That is not healthy. So I just completely avoid that position at this point. Plus, for some reason, having like my leg up at an angle when I'm in that position also ends up hurting either my hip or my knee. Let's see what else. The other position that I discovered when I first got diagnosed and had breathing issue or more breathing issues and everything, I realized like, oh, if I lie flat on my stomach, that actually somehow relieves the pressure and makes it easier for me to breathe. And I've also tried that. Unfortunately, um, for some reason now, whenever I put my head to one side or to the other in that position, it just ends up hurting my neck. And either I can't fall asleep, or if I somehow do manage to fall asleep, then I just wake up and my neck hurts so much. So it's like there's no position that is comfortable anymore. And it's not the bed because, well, first of all, I was sleeping really well in that bed before. It wasn't an issue. And it is a really comfortable bed, good quality, everything. So it's like, I know it's not the bed, it's literally my body. So, unfortunately, as hard as I've tried to come up with solutions, can't seem to find one. And I have considered bringing it up with my pivot nurse or my doctor or the palliative care unit, which is now working with me. But the thing is, I know their solution, if there is one, odds are they're probably going to say, sorry, nothing we can do. But if there is a solution, it's probably going to be pain pills or something like that. And the thing is, I already have enough to deal with without on top of that being on pain pills for weeks and weeks on end, or potentially months, or maybe even years on end, and then having to deal with, oh, now I need to get used to not taking pain pills anymore. Like, I don't want to have to deal with that. Just to kind of give an extreme example so you understand my perspective, where I'm coming from on this. It's like if someone's like, hey, you should take cocaine, it's going to help alleviate all the pain and all the symptoms you're having. It's like, oh, cool. Let me take cocaine. And then I take cocaine, become addicted to it, and then trying to get rid of that addiction later on when things are better is even worse than the symptoms I was dealing with before. Obviously, that's an extreme example. Pain pills aren't as extreme as cocaine, but that's the principle. That's kind of the perspective I'm coming into this with. Like, yes, I will take pain pills when I'm in a lot of pain, when it's unavoidable, if it can give me a break. But in this situation, it's just like, I don't want to, I don't want this to become a normal thing. I don't want pain pills to be something that I take regularly. And unfortunately, I don't know like what other solutions there will be, because getting comfortable is simply not an option. And unfortunately, because of that, every single time that I wake up that I'm sore, I have to switch positions. It's like, let's say I sleep on my back, and then I wake up and it's like, oh, I have trouble breathing. So I flip onto my side, and then I manage to fall asleep, and then I wake up and I'm sore. So I flip to the other side, and then I wake up again and I'm sore. And then I do that, and eventually it's like every single position is uncomfortable, and I just struggle to fall asleep. And when I do fall asleep, I don't sleep for a long time, and I wake up sore, and it's just like this never-ending cycle of, by the time that it's morning time for me to get up, I'm just completely exhausted. And even though I want to stay in bed because I am so exhausted and I need the rest, I can't anymore because it's just too painful for me to remain in bed, too uncomfortable. And it eventually gets to the point, and this happens every single morning. It just gets to the point where I'm so sore, so uncomfortable, and I wake up so often because of it that I'm just like, it's not worth it anymore. Let's just get up. Let's walk around, stretch my muscles, like sit down, change positions. And that's the only thing that alleviates it. But then I just end up feeling tired the entire day. So it's like the exhaustion causes me to need to sleep more. Sleeping more causes me to be sore more, which causes me to be exhausted more, which just is this never ending cycle. And luckily, the only good thing in this situation is it's not accumulating, in the sense that it's not getting worse. So it's like, it's not like, oh, I'm sore, so I need more rest, so I'm more sore, so I need more rest, so I'm more sore, and it just keeps piling up and piling up and piling up. It's not like that. It's just I can never fully rest, and I'm always sore. So it's just like I'm trapped in this never-ending cycle, but at least it's not getting worse. So I guess fingers crossed on that front. Like, at least I'm lucky on that front. You know, it could definitely be worse. I mean, it can always be worse, of course. But it's definitely not pleasant. And definitely, something I'm going to bring up with my doctor next time I speak to him, and probably the palliative care unit also. But honestly, I'm not expecting them to have a practical solution aside from the pain pills option that I mentioned. That seems pretty much like the only thing they could do to help. So we'll see. At this point, I guess the only thing I can do is just wait and hope and do whatever I can to be able to eat more and eventually start gaining more weight, having more padding, so then I can be more comfortable and the discomfort goes away, and then I'm able to sleep better, and as a result of that, I'm not feeling exhausted and sore all the time. That's pretty much the only plausible solution I can see at the moment. So yeah, that's my life at the moment. Isn't it grand? Anyway, that was my update for the day. Talk to you tomorrow. And I missed it again. It's weird. There was a period where I never missed it, and now it seems like every single video I'm missing it.